Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so welcome to those who joined today. And maybe you have to introduce yourselves to the rest of the class. Baitu. Name, services, and why you are here.
This is Achut from GGD Wise.
Achut.
Yeah. Services. Currently, I'm doing PDC course.
Okay. Services same for everyone. Huh?
So just systematically want to learn the scriptures. That's why I'm here.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. My name is Sushmit and currently I'm in PDC course. And I want to deepen my understandings of Srila Prabhupada's purports. As Srila Prabhupada himself says, we get newer and newer realizations when we read. So in association of devotees, it's always jovial to read and more dive in deep into the Shastras.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there.
Hare Krishna. So this is Prashant. I want to learn Prabhupada purpose deeply and nicely.
For what?
To understand the mood of Prabhupada
and what you'll do by understanding the mood of Prabhupada?
So that I can purify my heart and distribute this knowledge.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, again.
Myself, Ashok Kumar. Right now, I am serving in a community kitchen in the capacity of in the capacity of serving in charge.
Acha. In charge of whom?
Distribution and management there.
Of what?
It's the distribution of prasadam.
Oh, you're in charge for distributing prasadam. So is it equal distribution or?
Yeah. As on paper, everything is equal.
Only on paper, huh?
But depending upon the mood and the stature of Vaishnava, we have to just we have to be partially. We have to be a little bit partial also in the mood of serving also.
Good.
And I'm here to understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. As Prabhupada said that whenever we get time, we should understand his purpose from different angles and dive deep into the literature so that we can understand the things in a better way and from the different angles also.
Okay, good.
Hare Krishna. My name is Santosh Magar. I am from Waguli Wise. Now I am in PDC. Prabhupada always saying, please read my books, because if we read Prabhupada's books, then we will understand who I am and what is my goal in life. And if you understand,
so what is your goal?
Goal is back to Godhead. So if we understand
direct back to Godhead, huh?
For that, scripture is, if we understand scripture, we will do nice devotional service, and then we will achieve our goal. So,
Okay, thank you. Okay, who else? Vaman Prabhu is a special guest. He's come to supervise how the class is going on.
Hare Krishna. My name is Danvir Nitai Das.
Huh?
My name is Danvir Nitai Das.
Danvir Nitai Prabhu. Acha.
I joined this year 23 24 PDC. So I came here for learning Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures for more relevantly this Bhakti Shastri course.
Okay, thank you. There's one Danvir Nitai in Delhi also.
Hare
He
Krishna,
really
Prabhu.
gives a lot of dan.
So, Prabhu, my name is Ajay. So I belong to Kharadi, and this year I have joined BDC. And so, especially learning these scriptures from devotees, experienced devotees. So that is my goal, and so that they will share their own experiences and the concepts in all those, scriptures. So yeah, that is my goal.
Good, thank you. So once again, welcome. So before we proceed, we'll revise a few points from yesterday's discussion. So somebody would like to revise? Few important points from yesterday. Prabhupada quotes on?
The importance of Shastra, study of Shastra systematically.
So in those quotes, what was striking for you?
One was like read or fall. Prabhupada tell. If you will not read books subsequently, you will
How many
come
books
down.
Prabhupada said?
all my books.
All of the books.
and all of the devotees must read my books.
All the devotees must read all of the books that have been translated.
So here Prabhupada told that not only to read but to study. Not only to study but study scrutinizingly. Not only to scrutinizingly but from various angle of visions, so that we can
And be absorbed.
be absorbed. And he told it especially to the leaders. And he told that once the goal is to apply and to the formation of character.
Formation of character. Good. Vittal Prabhu remains low. Okay, Ujjwal.
You said that how we have to not go beyond this Prabhupada purport, and that the chutney and all that you said, to read every day. Our whole life.
You have to explain, otherwise they'll be wondering what happened to the chutney.
So chutney is compared to other books, that is not other than Prabhupada books. So we have whole life like chutney remains the same, Prabhuji said. So our whole life chutney
Not same chutney, proportion.
proportion. That eating proportion is the same thing that whole life we have. So our whole life we have to read Prabhupada books, and then other things can be little bit. That one point I like.
Reference books.
And then other projects told that how simply learning the philosophy is not that. One example of that, Jayadeva Goswami on devotee, then the PhD. Gita Govind. The conclusion is, after doing PhD, is Krishna. Why to accept Krishna as personality of Godhead? So we don't have to just become learned, but have to one drop of realization is sufficient. Then taking hundreds liters of something knowledge,
Information. Okay, good. Thank you. Somebody else?
Yesterday we discussed about 3 steps of Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasana.
Good.
That we should hearing come first, but after that we need to reflect on what we have heard, and after that reflection and understanding and
apply.
We have to apply it. That is Nididhyasana. And after all these 3 steps are covered, then we can go for preaching.
Okay, good. 1 or 2 more points? Nice. Okay, so now you proceed ahead. After this introductory thing, what we did next?
Then we went. We read about that preface.
Preface. Okay,
preface, in preface, Prabhupada stressed varieties of point.
tell one.
One point is that this Bhagavad Gita is for everyone he's writing. It is not Krishna is a Hindu god, he is a god of everyone and he especially stressed that he has presented this book without any adulteration. He clearly mentioned that we don't want any pseudo followers, that we want one pure devotee. Even if one pure devotee is made, that is successful. That is how many pure devotees are becoming.
Correct. Good. Thank you. Every year in PDC, so many pure devotees.
And Prabhupada gives the credit to his spiritual master. First of all, it is that we are not presenting anything new. If at all, is there any credit that goes to my spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pada Prasthur.
Right, giving credit to the spiritual master. Okay, next, after the preface, what next? Shubham?
Before preface, we had discussed commentaries, some just about from Baldev Vidyabhushan and Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur.
Okay, what was the important point there?
So there are 2 points.
Why the middle 6 chapters are, the Bhakti Yoga is in the middle?
It's like whenever there is anything special, so there need to be have protection also. So Bhakti is protected by Gyan and Karma, as with Gyan Karma always comes along with Bhakti. So they protect Bhakti. And also Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur tells that it also gives life to both Karma and Gyan. Otherwise they would be like without any taste. So Bhakti is, touching both the sides of Gyan and Karma.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. Okay, then after that, first chapter. Bolo.
First chapter we discussed the first shloka. There in that first shloka we had discussed various points about Dhritarashtra mentality, that how he was showing his attachment, Mamaka, that word Mamaka, and he was showing the attachment towards his sons. That was the one thing which we discussed there. And also Dharma Kshetra, like that Dhritarashtra was very much concerned that they are assembled on the Dharma Kshetra, they may compromise the situation, they not fight.
Okay, good. And then we saw various points of Duryodhana's diplomacy. Tell 2-3 points, Duryodhana's diplomacy, verses 3 to 11. Good.
He was first checking the strength of the opposite party first, and then so that is the first of the part of point of diplomacy.
So we saw one Prabhupada's quote on that. What is that? Checking the opposite party.
Businessman just goes on calculating about his profit, and some thief will come and take his money, then everything is finished. So one must understand the threat,
darker side.
The other side, the darker side.
Not only the brighter side, but one must also know the darker side.
And the same thing, if we apply, we must understand about Krishna as well as about the Maya, so that to protect ourselves in difficult situation.
Okay, good.
And he was, we saw how Duryodhana was referring to Drishtadyumna not by directly naming him, by calling his. We have seen how Duryodhana was calling Drishtadyumna, not calling him directly by name, but calling him indirectly by taking his Drupad's name, so that the anger, that earlier experience of what Dronacharya had with Drupada flares him up with anger more.
Okay, Drupada Putrena, that was one point. Then
so with respect to Drishtadyumna, he also tried to indicate Drona that it was your mistake that you trained him when he approached you for military training. And he is now leading the another army and creating phalanxes for that particular army. So means like, so
what's the indication?
So you should not be lenient towards the other party.
Yes. And what was Prabhupada's point on that?
Prabhupada told that Brahmanas are always liberal. Though he was quite aware that he is going to kill him, but still as a matter of duty, performing his dharma, he taught everything without keeping anything.
Right, good. Okay, fine. Okay, and then we had 1 or 2 more points about Duryodhana's diplomacy.
So in one sloka, Duryodhana told the name of Karna first.
Vikarna.
And there also
he told name of Dronacharya
first,
then Bhishma.
So that because he is a Brahmana and he is Kshatriya.
Correct.
These 2 points only, Roger. And
10th verse.
in the last, he is also encouraging others to support No?
Yes.
To say that Bhishma is now old, anytime he could be engaged, not knowing what is going on. So you should all be ready to fight, taking your strength sides. Yes, in
Right.
phalanx.
So,
Yes.
so protect Bhishma. 10th verse, somebody wants to explain? 10th verse?
Because the two words comes aparyaptam and paryaptam. So aparyaptam, it means that immeasurable. You want to say that Bhishma's power is immeasurable. But another meaning is not sufficient because Bhishma was little attached or affectionate towards Pandavas. So he not be show full valor in the fight. Another word is paryaptam, which actually word to word means limited. The Bhishma's power, but it means that sufficient. That is paryapta for fighting because Bhishma will not show any mercy.
Bhima
will not show any mercy while fighting with Kauravas.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. So in this way, we saw all these various points. So now we go to the next section. So you've done the homework? Okay, so tell some points. Signs of victory for the Pandavas. Shubham, bro.
Verse it is told that Arjuna and Krishna both are together. So that itself is a sign of victory because Krishna is always along with Shri, and wherever there is Shri, she is not alone. She carries the victory and fortune, and Narayan always be there.
By what word is Krishna addressed? No, in the context of what you said.
Madhava.
Yes,
Yeah,
Madhava, the husband of the
Lord
goddess of fortune. Okay, good. Okay, Mitra.
Regarding to that chariot, he told that that chariot was given by a fire god. So because of that,
only the chariot?
Chariot and the dhwaja, horses were there. That
horses, bow, arrow, everything.
Yeah. So because of that, in all directions, he could have been conquered because nobody can conquer that.
Okay, good.
Same verse 14 that Divya Shankho is here, the transcendental conscious. Previous verses it will not show any transcendental. Prabhupada writes in the purport that transcendental means there will be surely sign of the victory and other party will be defeated.
Okay, good. Okay, after that.
In 15th verse, Krishna is addressed as Hishikesha. And then Prabhupada gives in purport that Hishikesh is the one who controls the senses. So through Arjuna, he'll control the senses and then he'll win across the war.
Okay, good. So Krishna is addressed as Rishikesh.
So Prabhuji, they in the side of Pandavas, they blew the conch together. That also shows they are together. So they're going to win because that also broke the heart of Duryodhan, like disheartened him by hearing the sound of.
Yes, the sound of the conch shells blown by the Pandavas broke the heart of the Kauravas. Okay, shattered the hearts. Yes. Here, Ujjwal Prabhu.
In one sloka it said Kapit Dhwaja, on Arjuna's flag, Hanuman was there.
Right.
Flag.
So?
So that indicates that victory. Hanuman is never got any defeat. So victory is over Arjuna's.
Okay, that's a good point.
And also here, this point that it is not mentioned here that Pandava's heart got shattered when.
Right, that's correct. Okay, done? Haji, Praveen. From whom?
Krishna.
Okay, so Krishna is present along with Arjuna. Okay, fine.
Actually, even quantitatively also, only 2 verses were said about the conch shell blowing from other side, Kuru side. But there were more warriors referred to, more detailed description of conch shells of this party, Pandavas party.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now we'll proceed ahead, verse by verse. So we're starting with the 14th verse. We'll recite. Tata shveter hayeryukte mahati syandane stitau madhava pandavascheva divyau shankau pradadmatu. On the other side, Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Okay, Divyau Shankau. And Madhava, Krishna is addressed as Madhava. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that in contrast with the conch shell blown by Bhishma Dev, the conch shells in the hands of Krishna and Arjuna are described as transcendental. The sounding of the transcendental conch shells indicated that there was no hope of victory for the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is always with persons like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them. And whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without a husband. Therefore, victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conch shell of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on which both the friends were seated had been donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna. And this indicated that this chariot was capable of conquering all sides wherever it was drawn over the three worlds. Okay, so there are 3 points here. Signs of victory, there are 3 points. Okay, 15. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundram Dadmau Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya, Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Poundra. Here, Srila Prabhupada is especially focusing on Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesh because he's the owner of the senses, and then he's explaining that. Further down, Prabhupada writes that here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesh. Okay, so he was controlling Arjuna's senses and thereby inspiring him for victory. And in the next paragraph, Prabhupada is talking about on the other side, there were no such credits. So on the side of the Pandavas, there were so many credits. There was Dhananjay, Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjay, Bhima is referred to as Vrikodara, because he could eat as voraciously as he could perform Herculean tasks. Therefore, he is called Vrikodara. So if somebody wants to eat, then they should also perform Herculean tasks. On the other side, there were no such credits, nor the presence of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Director, nor that of the Goddess of Fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle, and that was the message announced by the sounds of the conch shells. Next 2 verses, there are the names of various conch shells. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijay, and Nakula and Sahadev blew the Sugosha and Mani Pushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satiki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and the others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Here Srila Prabhupada writes, Sanjay informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of the kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in that great battle. Beginning with the grandsire Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world, all were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged the policy followed by his sons. Text 19, the blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. And Prabhupada writes that such occurrences are not mentioned, but in this particular verse, it is mentioned that the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the sounds vibrate by the Pandavas' party. This due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna. One who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. So that's an important point. Srila Prabhupada often gives the example that a devotee is like a small child. A small child sleeping on the lap of the mother is totally confident that the mother will protect. Of course, Srila Prabhupada does mention that in the modern day situation is so bad that that very mother who's supposed to protect the child now is killing the child. But the example still holds true that the child feels very safe in the lap of the mother. So the child has full faith that the mother will definitely protect. So similarly, a devotee who's surrendered to the Supreme Lord has full faith that Krishna will take care. Krishna will definitely protect. So one of the symptoms of surrender is Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. So that's one of the symptoms of surrender. 20th verse. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Here Prabhupada writes, the emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Ram and Ravan, and Lord Ram emerged victorious. Now both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Ram himself, and wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjuna had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle. In such auspicious conditions arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee lay the signs of assured victory. So here, Kapidwaja, on Arjuna's flag, there was Hanuman. So do you know the pastime why Hanuman landed on that flag? There are two pastimes. Next.
So when Bhima requested Hanuman to fight, that time Hanuman told कि now I am very old, so I will not take part, but I will make uproaring sound.
हाँ वो ठीक है, वो तो बाद में हुआ, उसके पहले क्या?
There is another incident that when Arjun met Hanuman and he said कि Lord Ram, which considered as a great archer, so he could have made a bridge of the arrows only, why he made bridge of stones. I can make the arrow bridge of arrows, and then that Hanuman told, no, these monkeys are very heavy, so if they walk on that, it will break. So he said, now I will make the bridge. In case you will able to break that, then I will give up my life. So then Hanuman could easily broke that because he was chanting Lord Ram's name. He broke that. Then again, उसके बाद then when Arjun was about to die, about to enter into fire, then Krishna came and he settled the matter. That time he again told Arjun to make another bridge of arrows and told to Hanuman. That time Hanuman could not break because he was not chanting Lord Ram's name, and Krishna was personally present with Arjun that time. That time when they both saw, Arjun took shelter of Krishna and Hanuman saw that him as Ram. Then Krishna requested him to take part in the battle.
Good, thank you. Of course, some editing is required.
Yes.
Some masala has been added. Become a little too spicy. But anyway, the principle is correct. So basically, when Arjuna, he made the bridge of arrows, so then Hanuman, he increased his size, brought hills and boulders, and the bridge was shaking. It was about to break. So at that time, Arjuna prays to the Lord, my dear Lord, the honor of the Pandavas is at stake. So please do something. So then, the bridge initially was shaking, but then nothing happened. It didn't break. So Hanuman was amazed. I have increased my size so much. There's so much of weight, but yet this bridge is not breaking. And then Hanuman looked down into the water and there was some blood. And at the same time, Arjuna also looked and he also saw. And so then both of them saw that the Lord was actually below supporting the bridge. So Arjuna saw Krishna and Hanuman saw Lord Ram. And so then that's how then Lord tells them to have a deal in friendship. And that's how Hanuman agreed to be on the flag of Arjuna. So that's one story. Another story somebody knows? Sushma.
Hare Krishna. This story is in Mahabharata when Pandavas in the exile and Draupadi asks for some specific
1,000 petal lotus.
1,000 petal lotus. So that time Bhim goes allured by the fragrance. So on the way, he finds one very old monkey lying down. So it's an etiquette. We should not cross over a person, like we see in that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Govinda pastime also. Same etiquette is. So that time, Bhima is in a very passionate mode, and he asks to get us aside, but that old monkey says to him that I am so old and weak, I am not able to move. So you can do it yourself. So
move the tail aside.
Move the tail aside. So that time, Bhima tried with all his valor and strength, and he could not lift that tail. And that time he was humbled, and then he asked, other than my father Vayu and who nobody can defeat me. So who are you? So then he reveals that I am Hanuman, and then Bhima requests him to show that form which he took when he left the Indian Ocean. So he Hanuman mercifully shows him that form, and then he requests him to please help us in our fight. So he said, I will be on that flag of Arjuna and help him.
Right. Good. Thank you. So these are two stories why Kapidwaja, why Hanuman is on the flag. So now a few quotes from Srila Prabhupada in this connection. Please read. Okay, so we're reading in line. Give.
So in the fighting principle, Arjuna is fighting for Krishna. He is following the previous fighting Acharya, Hanumanji. Therefore, he has depicted his flag with Hanuman. That Hanumanji, Vajrangaji, kindly help me. This is Vaishnavism. I have come here to fight for Lord Krishna. You fought also for the Lord. Kindly help me. This is the idea. Kapidwaja.
Continue.
So any activities of the Vaishnava, they should always pray to the previous Acharya. Kindly help me. Kindly. This is a Vaishnava. This is a Vaishnava is always thinking himself helpless, and begging help from the previous Acharya.
Right. So here Srila Prabhupada is making an important point in this connection of the Kapidwaja, that a Vaishnava always considers himself to be helpless with his own strength. He never thinks, on my own I can do something wonderful. But he always depends on the strength, on the mercy of the previous acharyas. And that is the humility of the Vaishnava. And therefore, we find so many examples in the scriptures of the greatest of acharyas maintaining that humble mood and dependence on the previous acharyas and the Vaishnavas. So can you give some examples? Yes, Uju. 2. Some specific example.
Prabhupada writes in Markandeya Bhagavatam when he gives that. Please make me dance, my Lord, make me dance as you wish.
Right. So that's a good example. Srila Prabhupada himself is considering himself totally incapable of changing the hearts of the other people. He is requesting the Lord to give him the words by which the people's hearts could be changed. Okay, good.
Yeah, there are pastimes of Prabhupada at Vrindavan and Mayapur. Like when he was in Vrindavan at Radha Damodar temple, he used to cry before Goswami Samadhi,
right,
for giving him mercy. And before boarding to the ship, he went to Mayapur. He also prayed at the Shantipur, right. Advait Acharya, he prayed for his mercy.
Okay, good.
Yesterday I was hearing from Radhesham Prabhu in the context of some people says that Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj is Bhajananandi, but Srila Bhaktisthana Thakurji was a preacher. So Srila Bhaktisthana Thakurji used to say that I am like a fan who is moving, but the engine is my spiritual master.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
so he was depending on his mercy.
Yes, that's right. Any other example? So here in the Bhagavatam we see that how Sutta Goswami, before he speaks, first of all he offers prayers to his spiritual master Shukdev Goswami at the beginning of the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto we read, and he also offers Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhi. So he's offering all these prayers, begging for mercy from all these great personalities. Yes. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami at the end of every chapter. Yes. So he's depending on Rupa and Raghunath. So we find, and of course, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, before writing, he was taking blessings of all the Vaishnavas. And of course, he got the mercy of Nityanand Prabhu, he got the mercy of Lord Madan Mohan. Again, we find Shukdev Goswami. In the fourth chapter of the second canto, we read, after Parikshit Maharaj asks his questions, before he begins to answer, then Shukdev Goswami is offering a series of prayers to the Supreme Lord. This is Shukdev Goswami, totally on the liberated platform. But he never thinks that, oh, I can give the answers to Parikshit Maharaj's questions. So rather, he first of all offers a series of so many prayers, and then he says, my dear Lord, just as you have entered into all the elements of material nature, please enter into my words and decorate my words so that I can give the appropriate answers to Parikshit Maharaj's questions. So in this way you find, and of course, another beautiful example is that of Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami, while writing the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu right at the beginning, then he is also considering himself totally insignificant to carry on this work. And he's offering all the prayers to the previous acharyas, to his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to all the Vaishnavas, before writing the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. There, of course, Srila Prabhupada writes that this should be the mood of all the preachers within the Krishna consciousness movement. They should simply consider themselves to be instruments of the previous acharyas. Instruments of the previous acharyas. So that's the same point here. Also, we find that Arjuna is feeling himself dependent on the previous warrior acharya, Hanuman. So good point. Okay, read.
There is two missions, not only to give protection to the devotees, but also to kill the demons. So the devotees of Krishna should be trained up both ways, not only to give protection to the devotees, to give them encouragement, but if needed be, they should be prepared to kill the demons. That is Vaishnavism.
So two missions, to give protection and to kill. So that means we have to go out killing. Huh?
In Kali Yuga, we can kill the demonic propensity.
Yes, kill the demonic propensities by
chanting.
Yes, by Krishna consciousness. Okay.
Generally, a Vaishnava is non-violent, just like Arjuna. In the beginning, he was non-violent. He said, Krishna, what is the use of this fighting? Let them enjoy. So by nature, he was non-violent, but he was induced by Krishna to become violent. Your non-violence will not help. You become violent. You kill them, I want.
Continue.
So if Krishna wants, we shall be prepared to become violent. So those who are devotees of Krishna, they should be trained up both ways. They should be prepared. But generally, there is no question of becoming violent unnecessarily.
Okay, so if Krishna wants, a Vaishnava is ready to even become violent. Generally, a devotee is non-violent. He does not even want to kill an ant. So that's the natural quality of a Vaishnava. He is non-violent. But for Krishna's sake, if Krishna wants, he is ready to become violent. So we are not attached to being violent or non-violent. We are simply attached to Krishna's instruction. That's the point. Okay, fine. So now we go to the next section, 21 to 27, Krishna as Bhaktavatsal. So let's recite 21, 22. Arjuna uvacha senayorubhayor madhye ratham stapya me achyuta yavadeta niriksheham yoddukaman avastitan kermaya saha yodavyam asmin rana samudyame. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Please do the purport.
Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As a charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer of his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotee is assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances.
आगे?
As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war.
So here Srila Prabhupada is focusing on the word what? Achyuta. Achyuta, infallible. So why the Lord is addressed as infallible? So here Arjuna, he wants to make the point clear that although he is giving orders to Krishna as a charioteer, but still Krishna's position always remains the same. It's not that just because Krishna has taken the position of a charioteer, it does not mean that his position has become something low. So therefore, he is using the word achyuta to indicate that his position is always infallible. He always remains the Supreme Lord, and his taking the role of a charioteer is his lila. He is voluntarily doing that. He is not obliged to do it. Nobody can force him to do that. But out of affection for his devotee, because of the reciprocation of love, he is ready to take on that position for his devotee. So the servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. Examples of Lord taking great pleasure in serving his devotees? Those who have not yet spoken would like to speak. Go and prove.
We hear in childhood pastime, Lord Krishna brings the shoes of Ananda Maharaj on his head.
Okay, yes. The Lord is bringing the shoes of Nand Maharaj. He's not obliged, but yes, he's taking on that position just out of love. Okay, some other example? Huh.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself giving food to Haridas Thakur when he was chanting so much.
Okay, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself would bring Jagannath Mahaprasad for Haridas Thakur. Okay, good. What else? Huh. Okay, Lord Krishna serving Sudama. Same. Okay, because he was forced to carry them. Right, of course, that's
Also
again.
in the pastime of Mr. Madhavendra, Krishna brings the with milk for him.
Okay, Krishna brings milk from Madhavendra Puri, yes. Right, so we have, so Radharani was trying to cover, Raghunathas Goswami was chanting in the hot sun, and what Krishna was doing? Yes, the tiger was drinking the water and Raghunathas was there, so Krishna was there with a stick. Krishna? Okay, that's this example. Okay, fine.
Govinda was sleeping. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put blanket on Govinda's.
ये कब हुआ? ठीक है, reference बताओ. Okay, read this. You have the mic. Read.
From your affection, O Achyuta, you do not deviate from your innate nature, from your affection for your devotee, or from your supreme power. Controlled by this quality, without fear, place my chariot according my words, the words of your devotee. Then he speaks of the purpose of doing so. Place the chariot so that I can see who are situated firmly,
Firmly.
not trembling in fear. Avasthitan.
who are desirous of fighting. Yadu Kaman.
Yoddu Kaman.
Yoddu Kaman. With no desire for compromise.
Okay, so Arjuna is telling the purpose why he wants Krishna to put the chariot in between the two armies, because he wants to see who all have come with a desire to fight without any compromise. Okay, so the acharyas present this as a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. So now Krishna says,
but you are fighter, not a spectator.
Spectator.
What will be accomplished by viewing this? I wish to see at the beginning of the battle those friends and relatives in whose company I will fight, and those friends and relatives against whom I will fight. For that purpose, place my chariot between the two armies.
Right. So he wants to see who all have come to fight with him. Okay, Prabhupada's lecture.
शनियार उभयो मध्ये रथम स्थापय. My dear Krishna, he is not addressing as Krishna Achyuta. Now you place my chariot between the two parties. This is ordering. That means Arjuna becoming controller and Krishna becoming controlled. Just the opposite. Therefore, the Krishna knows.
Arjuna knows.
Therefore, Arjuna knows his subordinate position, and he is ordering to Krishna. So indirectly, he is begging to be excused. My dear Krishna, I cannot order you. Order must come from you. But because you promised to carry out my order, you wanted to become my chariot driver. Therefore, I am ordering. Therefore, I am ordering. I am not in position of ordering to you, and you promised to carry out my order. And I think you are fixed up in that promise. Therefore, I am asking you, Achyuta, you don't fall from your promise.
Yes. So basically, Arjuna, he wants to make the point clear that I'm not qualified to order you. You are supposed to order me. But then since you agreed to be ordered, therefore I'm ordering you. That was your promise. Okay, some questions for you. So three questions. Krishna was acting as a servant of Arjuna. What does it mean to be a servant of someone? First question. What is the difference between being a servant of a non-devotee and being a servant of Krishna? What are your experiences? Okay, so make small groups, 3 or 4 devotees. Give it 5 minutes to discuss these questions. ये बहुत बड़ा ग्रुप हो गया, इसको 2 कर दो. अच्छा, यू जॉइन दैट. ओके. हाँ, 5 थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया भाई. हाँ, 3 करो यहाँ पर, 3 करो. हाँ ठीक है. हाँ 4 ठीक है. Question is clear? Questions clear? ठीक है, डन डन डन. उज्जवल हो गया. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, so first question, what does it mean to be a servant of someone? Okay, to please whom? Okay, to please the master. Okay, that's one point here. Hare Krishna. हाँ बोलो. हाँ. Okay, please the master. Okay, that's good. No separate desire from whom? Okay, right. So trying to please the master as per his desires, not one's own desires. Okay, good.
He should be ready to do anything at any time, anywhere. Like that.
Okay, ready to do anything, anytime, anywhere. Okay, that's interesting.
Understanding the heart of master and serving accordingly.
Okay, that's good. Understanding the hearts. That's good. Okay, so it is said there are 3 types of disciples, right? You know that?
Yes.
So this is which category?
First class.
Yes, this is the first category. That is the best. So understanding the heart of the master and acting according to that. Can you give some example for that?
Srila Prabhupada, his spiritual master ordered him to preach in Western language, and he did that.
Right. So his spiritual master just ordered him to preach, but then Srila Prabhupada, he used his intelligence and created this entire society, wrote so many books, he did so much. Right. Huh? You have some other example? When? Okay, fine. Okay, Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramanand Rai, according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's moods, they would be singing various songs and yes, doing all that. Yes, Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swayam.
Sanatan Goswami, when he came to Varanasi with a blanket, so when just Mahaprabhu understood, Mahaprabhu, without any saying anything, he understood that
He just
Mahaprabhu
indicated with his eyes. He indicated, didn't appreciate what?
that he's
The
although
new
he's in a
blanket.
dress of a Vairagi, but he's having a new blanket.
Right. Sanatan Goswami was sharp enough to understand that.
Raghunath Das Goswami's Prasadam Lila, that he purchases, invites Mahaprabhu, then relinquishes that, goes for begging and all.
Okay, so he was increasing the Vairagya. Okay, good. And the next level of the disciple is what? First level is understanding heart. Second level is?
Follows
yes,
what is
follows whatever he's told to do. And third level is?
do it. Even after being told.
Yes. Yes, half-hearted or not doing it all. So that's third level. Okay, fine. So at least we should try to be second level. Okay. Okay, fine. What does it mean to be what is the difference between being servant of a non-devotee and being servant of Krishna? Somebody like to write? So who's servant of whom?
Actually, serving non-devotee is not the absolute master, but whereas Krishna is absolute master. So serving, in case of serving non-devotee, is not the absolute master. Yes. I said, Prabhuji, serving a non-devotee is not absolute master in terms of anything. Reciprocation, protection is not absolute. There may be master to the master whom you are serving as such.
Okay, so then, okay.
That's why I said absolute master.
Relative master. Not absolute master. Okay, the master is not absolute. Not absolute master. Not absolute master. Master is the master. Krishna is absolute master. There is no one above him.
Oh. So, Prabhu, Krishna also becomes servant, but non-devotees, they act like a master. I mean, when we become servant of Krishna, he also, as much as we become servant, Krishna also becomes servant. But non-devotees, they become.
Non-devotees never become servant.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so the non-devotee master never becomes servant. Okay, Krishna becomes servant.
In the case of servant of non-devotee, the master, the servant, and the service is temporary. But in the case of servant of Krishna, the devotee, the process of devotional service and the Lord is permanent.
Here in non-devotee, he never satisfy whatever we do. Master. Master will not be satisfied. Servant also will not satisfy. No.
And here what happens?
Here, even if you do small service also, Krishna will be satisfied and devotee also will be satisfied.
Okay, here there is satisfaction. Okay, fine.
Non-devotees are basically sense gratifiers. So if we serve them, we will get same mentality. But we serve Krishna, he is full of bliss and ananda. So if you serve him, you also be blissful. Krishna is full of bliss. So if you serve him, we also become blissful.
Okay. Here, sense gratification. Sense gratification. So both want sense gratification. Here, both become blissful. Okay, good. Next point. You have some more points? Any other points? Okay, go ahead.
Exploitation. The non-devotees exploit, the master will exploit the servant. But servant also try to, now Kali Yuga it is happening.
Mutual exploitation.
But in the spiritual world, they want to serve each other.
Okay, okay. So here it's only mode of service. Mutually serving is basically mode of service.
That is like servant of non-devotee is a Virupa, and the servant of Krishna is a Jiver Swarupa. That is the original service. Prabhupada tells in one lecture about Virupa, he tells in five. Yeah, I'll be serving with them.
Serving non-devotee ends up in suicide, and serving Krishna ends up in back to Godhead. After frustration.
But how can you generalize it? Okay, it's frustration.
Frustration, yeah.
Okay. Suicide is okay. Frustration and here what? That is good. Okay, okay. I will take your point.
If servant commits some heinous acts, the master rejects the servant. But Krishna says, Apichet sudaracharo bhajanti mamam. Sadhu, he considers still a sadhu.
Okay, small mistake leads to rejection. Small mistake, rejection. And here Krishna accepts.
The components of services decline as for time progresses, but here component increases. Component in terms of eagerness to serve and the capacity to serve or ways to serve increases there. Increases there and decreases here.
Okay, so the eagerness to serve increases. Here. Here, eagerness and what you said? Eagerness and what? Capacity. Okay, capacity. Eagerness and capacity increase. And here, do you think it always decreases? Do you think it always decreases here?
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely.
Okay, fine. So anyway, theoretically we can say it reduces. Okay, fine.
Prabhuji, in one way we can see that it decreases because everyone, if we are serving non-devotee, there would not be satisfaction, and actually tendency is to become ourself master, which means we do not want to remain servant. So definitely there is no eagerness in service. There is eagerness to how to put a step ahead on his head and become master.
So you basically explain the same point.
Prabhuji, one point I wanted to add. There is no competition in being the servant of Krishna. But even if we want to be a servant of non-devotee, there is competition, like PMs के PA वगैरह होते हैं जो constables के. There is no competition because there is abundance of service. For the same person, we can serve in different ways and we can satisfy him. But here we always want close proximity to serve. Healthy competition kind of.
Okay, so this is what
Unhealthy.
Okay, unhealthy competition.
And envious competition, Broji.
Okay,
Pulling legs and all.
Envious competition. That is healthy Vaikuntha competition.
To serving actually to non-devotee, there is a selfish nature. To serve to Krishna, there is a selfless service.
Okay, fine. Okay, selfish, selfless. Selfish, selfless.
Non-devotees, they just see the outcome or the result, while this Krishna sees the endeavors.
Okay, fine. Outcome or the result. Seen. Or result. Result is seen. And here endeavor.
Serving Krishna means serving everyone, and serving non-devotee means we do not serve nobody.
Okay. Just serving everyone, that's serving no one.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Serving everyone, serving no one. Because there's no more of service. Okay, is Krishna? Here we serve on duty platform. Here we serve in the okay. Okay. Is it duty? Desire. Okay, love, duty, material desires. Okay, of course, outcome result. Okay, you can still put quantitative, qualitative.
It's not here in case of non-devotee, you get a better servant in terms of capacity or to do work, then you are rejected. You are not no more a servant of him. He'll hire the same one at the same price. I said, let's say in a master and servant status in terms of a non-devotee, let's say if that master gets his another servant at same price doing the same job better than you, then you get rejected as a servant. That doesn't happen in terms of Krishna.
Okay, fine.
Job security.
Insecure. That definitely has 100%. Okay, 1, 2, that's it.
The more we serve to non-duty, the more entangled we become, and the more we serve Krishna, the more liberated we become.
Okay, entanglement, liberation.
When it comes to serving non-devotee, the nature of a person who is servant is he eventually tries to become master, but when it comes to serving Krishna, he wants to become servant of servant. And eventually.
Okay, so he wants to become master, that servant of servant.
Serving Krishna is our natural position of the.
Serving non-devotees. By serving non-devotees, we get their karma. And by serving Krishna, he takes our karma. Krishna takes our karma.
Okay. Krishna takes our karma.
And here we get his karma. Yes.
Okay, fine.
Whatever you do, that is this lifetime. But servant to Krishna, that will go life after life.
Okay, so we got a lot of points here. Yes. So somebody is noting down, no? Okay, so in this context, this is a beautiful verse from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is being spoken by Uddhav to Krishna. So let's recite. Tasmad bhavantam anavadyam anantaparam sarvagyamishwaram akunta vikunta dishnyam nirvinna dhiraha mohe vrijani bitapto narayanam narasakham sharanam prapadye. Therefore, O Lord, feeling weary of material life and tormented by its distresses, I now surrender unto you, because you are the perfect master. You are the unlimited, all-knowing, supreme personality of Godhead, whose spiritual abode in Vaikuntha is free from all disturbances. In fact, you are known as Narayan, the true friend of all living beings. So here Uddhava is giving 5 reasons why Krishna is the perfect master. The first reason is anavadyam. Anavadyam means faultless. And in the commentaries to this verse, they beautifully explain that how, just like in the material world, one may join some company because one has heard the glories of the company and the glories of his boss. But then after joining the company, after some days, what happens? The true colors come out. And then one realizes, oh, I thought this person was good, but he's something else. But that doesn't apply to Krishna, because Krishna is forever, eternally faultless. That is the first reason, anavadyam. The second one is anantaparam. Anantaparam. So anantaparam means that he's not limited by time and space. He's ananta, unlimited. So again, just like in a material company, suppose there is some employee in the company and he is expecting some promotion. And the boss also promised him that very soon he'll be getting promotion. But then what happens? All of a sudden he dies. And then new boss comes. And then promotion cancelled. But in the case of Krishna, no, such a thing cannot happen, because Krishna is always present, everywhere, unlimited by time and space. And so therefore, any small service rendered any time will always be rewarded. There is no question of Krishna forgetting the service of any jiva and not rewarding that, not reciprocating with that. So that is the meaning of anantaparam. He is always present to reciprocate. The third reason is sarvagyam, all-knowing. So again, taking the example of a material company. So there may be some insignificant employee in the company, and the boss never even comes to know that, oh, there is a nice employee doing some sincere service. You may never even know about it, and then forget about rewarding him. But Krishna is sarvagya, avigya swarat. So he's all-knowing. And so therefore, even if some insignificant jiva is rendering some insignificant service in some insignificant corner of the universe, Krishna will definitely recognize and reciprocate. Therefore, no devotee can or should ever feel, is my service being recognized? That doubt need never arise, because Krishna is sarvagya. He is all-knowing. And so, of course, Krishna can also empower the spiritual master, his representative, to also know everything about the disciples. So in that connection, there's a beautiful pastime of His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj. So he himself tells this pastime. I'm sure you must have heard it before. Okay, anyway, Kali Yuga memory, so it's okay. So this is early days of Niranjan Maharaj joining Boston Temple, and as most devotees in those days, he was out on book distribution. And the Boston Temple had just purchased a new building, which had to be renovated. Niranjan Maharaj had some previous background of renovating buildings, carpentry, and things like that. So the temple president calls Niranjan Maharaj and asks him, so please come back and renovate this building, especially Srila Prabhupada's rooms, because Srila Prabhupada's rooms are going to be in this new building. Niranjan Maharaj says, no, Srila Prabhupada wants us to distribute books. I'm busy on book distribution. So the temple president says, okay, you at least come back, we'll discuss. So he comes back. Then the temple president takes him to the to-be rooms of Srila Prabhupada. He shows him the rooms, and the temple president asks him, do you think that these rooms are fit for your spiritual master to stay? So Niranjan Maharaj looks at the rooms and says, no. Then do something. This is good management, right? So then Niranjan Maharaj agrees, and then for 2-3 months, because Srila Prabhupada was scheduled to come there, so 2-3 months, Niranjan Maharaj was very hard to renovate those rooms where Srila Prabhupada is going to stay. And so the renovation was almost complete. A few days before the scheduled arrival of Srila Prabhupada, the temple president tells Niranjan Maharaj that now there are some Italian tiles which are to be put in this room. So we'll go to the New York temple and we'll get the tiles from there. So both the temple president Niranjan Maharaj, they sit in the car and they begin to drive from Boston to New York. So as they were almost reaching New York, instead of entering the New York City, the temple president who was driving takes a turn to go towards the New York airport. And then the temple president tells him, so actually we are not going to the New York temple. We are going to the airport to receive Srila Prabhupada. And Niranjan Maharaj is very happy because till now he had not even seen his spiritual master once face to face, though he was already second initiated. So hearing that he would be seeing Srila Prabhupada face to face for the first time, he was so happy. He was so happy. And then, of course, he elaborately describes that how they went to the airport. There were some 200, 300 devotees in total ecstasy to welcome Srila Prabhupada. All of them chanting, jumping, laughing, crying. And then as Srila Prabhupada, he arrives and then he's coming down. Maharaj has the first darshan of Srila Prabhupada, fully effulgent, fully effulgent. And then he describes how Srila Prabhupada comes down, and then as he's walking, again, this is told by many of Prabhupada's disciples, it appeared as if his feet were not touching the ground. He was gliding. And so he was walking very fast. He was having a tough time to catch up with him. And then, of course, Srila Prabhupada walked off, and then the devotees took him in the car to the New York temple. And the temple president tells Niranjan Maharaj, okay, so now we'll go back to the Boston temple now. So, of course, Niranjan Maharaj was so happy to have this beautiful darshan of Srila Prabhupada. So then they go back to the Boston temple, and then the renovation of the rooms is complete. But then in the meantime, what happens was that on the scheduled date of Srila Prabhupada coming to Boston, Srila Prabhupada got an appointment with the then Indian Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. And so his coming to Boston was cancelled. So Niranjan Maharaj, he was feeling a little disappointed that he put so much effort to renovate these rooms, but then he says, and after that, Srila Prabhupada never got a chance to come to the Boston temple to stay in those rooms. But Niranjan Maharaj says, even though Srila Prabhupada never came to those rooms, Srila Prabhupada reciprocated with his service by giving him his darshan. That is how Krishna and the spiritual master always reciprocate with the service of a devotee. And so that's a beautiful example to show that how Krishna is all-knowing, Sarvagya, and Krishna can empower his representative spiritual master to also become all-knowing as per the need and reciprocate with the devotee. So therefore, this is a very relevant point, especially in the present day context, where many devotees feel that they don't have much reciprocation with their Diksha gurus. But then this is a prime example of how definitely Krishna and the spiritual master know the services of a devotee, and they will definitely reciprocate if we are sincere in our service. Okay? So that's the point about Sarvagya. The next point is Ishwaram. That is the fourth reason, Ishwaram. So Ishwaram means full control, supreme controller. So again, in the material world, there could be an employee working, but then how much protection can the master give to the employee? Can the master protect the employee from disease, from accidents, ultimately from old age, death? No. But Krishna, he's Ishwara, he's supreme controller. So if he wants, he can give all types of protection to his devotee. And of course, as we go ahead in the Bhagavad Gita, we see how Krishna gives so many assurances of how he reciprocates with his devotees. He's full controller. So therefore, we should have full faith. Krishna is there to control. And whatever is happening in my life and in others' lives is definitely under Krishna's control. Nothing can happen without his sanction. And so therefore, if anything is happening in my life or others' lives, it is under Krishna's control and his sanction. That means it must definitely be good, because Krishna is all good. He cannot do anything wrong. And the fifth reason is Akunta Vikunta Dishnyam. So the abode of the Supreme Lord is Vaikunta, which is Akunta. There is no Kunta. Akunta Vikunta. That is Vaikunta. So anyone who takes to so in the material world, as somebody did mention one of the points about security, right? Job security, especially these days. So many people are being laid off. I was hearing in Bangalore, one devotee was telling me in one of the companies, when they laid off so many hundreds, they send mail to them at midnight. You heard that? They send a mail to them at midnight. And now, how many will see their mails at midnight? And then they go to the company the next day, thinking like any other normal day. And they go there and they have the swipe cards. They don't work. See, such a cruel way, heartless way of throwing out people. At least do it nicely. No. Just in the middle of the night, throwing them out. Next day, they get the shock of their life. And how they feel. They have served these material bosses for so many years. Some of them 15 years, 20 years they have served. And this is how they're kicked out. Mercilessly, so ungratefully. It really hurts people. But as far as Krishna consciousness, Krishna is giving definite guarantees. As we see throughout the Gita, how many guarantees he gives? You perform devotional service, janma karma jame devim evam yoveti tatvata tyaktva deham punarjanmanaiti, and so many others. So there is no insecurity in Krishna's service. The goal is very clear, and Krishna is giving an assurance. But in the material world, it's all insecure. So these are the 5 reasons Uddhava is giving as to why Krishna is the perfect master. And in the context of, again, a perfect master and a perfect servant and reciprocation between them, we have these verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can somebody say the context of these verses? Guess, you tried to guess, but not so correct. Okay, I know why you're saying that, because it appears like that, but it is not so. Good, yes, that's the context. So this is when Rup and Sanatan, they test their younger brother Anupam, because Anupam was a devotee of Lord Ramachandra. And so Rup and Sanatan, they test him. And then when, after doing that, then on the way, Anupam leaves his body. Okay, so this happens on the way from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri. And then Rupa Goswami comes to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Rupa Goswami is relating this incident about Anupam to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then when Mahaprabhu hears this, Mahaprabhu is relating it to another devotee. Who's that? Say that? Murari Gupta. And that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I did a similar thing with Murari Gupta. I also tested Murari Gupta. And he was also devoted to Lord Ramachandra. And in that context, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks these verses. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sei Bhakta Danya Yena Chade Prabhura Charana, Sei Prabhu Danya Yena Chade Nijajana. Glorious is that devotee who does not give up the shelter of his Lord, and glorious is that Lord who does not abandon his servants. And then he says, please recite together. Durdeva sevaka yadi yaya anya sthane, se Thakur dhanya tare chule dhariyane. If by chance a servant falls down and goes somewhere else, glorious is that master who captures him and brings him back by the hair. And of course, the practical example of that is, yes, Kala Krishna Das, where Mahaprabhu practically did that. Of course, this is the reciprocation between Krishna and his servants. This is the reciprocation. And so that's the ideal master and the ideal servant. And of course, we can discuss so much on these points, but okay, fine. So we'll stop on this point for a break. So we'll take a 10 minutes break and continue. Hare Krishna. Okay. Here, Srila Prabhupada is making a very beautiful point, a very important one. So here, Srila Prabhupada is saying, our Krishna consciousness movement is just to train ourselves again to enter into the family of Krishna. That is our movement. With these families, the so-called families, we are suffering. But the family idea is there. That is perfect in Krishna, the family idea. Where from this idea comes? Because nothing can be visible without being in Krishna. Is the origin Janmadhyasya. So here we find Arjuna showing material compassion, affection to his family members. Why? Because that idea, that affection is originally there in the spiritual world. So in the spiritual world, what do we find? There is family or no family? So Krishna has his parents, he has his friends, boyfriends, girlfriends. There are so many others who also have their families, they have their children. So it's all entire family. So therefore, the concept of family is there in the spiritual world. And all the various relationships, rasas are all there in the spiritual world. So therefore, because it is there in the spiritual world, it is there in the material world. And therefore, here in the material world also, one wants to have those same type of relationships. Therefore, we find everyone wants to have friend circle. That's the reason people join clubs, societies to have their friend circle. And then they get married to have relationship with wife, children, relationship with parents. So because this idea is there in the spiritual world, therefore it is there in the material world. But what is the difference? What is the difference? So this is perverted. And because this is perverted, all these relationships simply lead to suffering. Simply lead to suffering. The relationships are, yes, illusory, temporary, and they simply lead to suffering. But the relationships in the spiritual world are a cause of transcendental bliss. So then somebody may ask, then if that is natural, then how can we remain brahmacharis? It is natural to have family. That's what Prabhupada is saying here, right? Then how can we be without that family idea of wife and children? How can we renounce it? Okay, fine. That is one point. We are renouncing a smaller family for serving a bigger family. Okay, that's one point. Yes, going through.
One point.
Okay, you have the mic. Speak.
So we have here a spiritual family. Like spiritual master is called our father, and Vedas are our mother, and all the like we have God brothers, God sisters. So we have that family here also.
Good, good. That's a very good point.
In the last, Prabhupada is mentioning that it is perverted. So the family idea of in this material world is actually perverted idea of family life. So here the idea is that we should take the shelter of the original thing, not the perverted thing.
Okay.
So by living perverted idea of family life, we can enter into the original idea of family life.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So one has to give up the perverted idea of family life. But where is the original idea of family life? Where is so there has to be Krishna conscious family also, na?
Yes.
So where is that?
That is in the spiritual world.
But till then where?
We are in a circle of our duties.
So therefore, the important point is that if that family spirit is not there in the association of devotees, there is bound to be frustration. Because the soul is hankering for that family. And therefore, to create that Krishna conscious family atmosphere is something so very important. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, he says in his lectures, therefore we have created this society. Society means there is association, it's like a family. And it's very important that that family spirit is there. Even as renunciants, as brahmacharis, sannyasis, the family spirit has to be there. So if the family spirit is not there, then there is bound to be frustration. And so therefore we find that Rupa Goswami himself is speaking about Priti Lakshanam, Dadati Pratigrinnati Goyamakyate Prakshati Bhunkte Bhojite. And of course, unlimited quotes of Srila Prabhupada on being in the association of devotees. Why? Because that is natural for the soul. And therefore, if one does not have those appropriate Vaishnava relationships amongst seniors, equals, juniors, one of the prominent reasons, besides so many others, for devotees leaving brahmachari ashrams and leaving Krishna consciousness is feeling frustrated in relationships and feeling lonely. This is a very prominent reason. So ultimately, of course, all the relationships we have to be based on the spiritual platform with Krishna as the center. And the more we have such spiritual relationships, the more one will experience great satisfaction. But as Prabhupada is writing here, the family idea is there. And one cannot renounce it. And therefore then so-called renunciants who don't have that wonderful association of other Vaishnavas and other renunciants with Krishna in the center, the spiritual relationships based on love, then they may either give up the renounced order or then they will have illegal relationships. So therefore, it's very important that in the association of devotees, one cultivate good spiritual relationships and maintain that family spirit. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada would say, ISKCON is like one family. And so having that is something which is very important. Okay?
Prabhuji, there was one question, discussion among the brahmacharis that initial days in Kunj Bihari, it was a good family. But when we shifted to NVCC, it became like a corporate style. So just wanted to know how do we incorporate, what difference made and how do we improve? Even for personal point of view, I'm asking. Yeah.
Okay, any suggestions for this? हाँ बोलो. उनको माइक दे दो बाबा. और थोड़ा स्लो बोलना सीखिए. नहीं तो आपको परपोर्ट देना पड़ेगा. हर एक वाक्य के लिए एक परपोर्ट देना पड़ेगा आपको.
So actually, at least I can tell my experience of being 1.5 years in ashram. I cannot further. But I have seen though it's up to the devotee who is willing to take. If he's willing to speak to seniors, I have seen plenty of the seniors, all three floors, who is willing to welcome you, speak to you, talk to you. You are willing to stay in your room with your equals. They are ready to listen to you, speak to you. But now that's what I have felt this 1 year, 1.5 years of stay. It's still there, but depends upon how you act or how you show your relationship with others.
Okay, good point. Good point. Thank you for that. Anybody, any other comments? Sadhu.
So actually, I've seen both temple because from 2011 I was coming every Saturday Sunday there, and then in 2013 came. So there was a small setup. So due to small setup, every devotee used to become within 2 steps. Our temple hall was there from ashram, from yoga and all. So we could able to easily meet with devotee, and while going coming, we were able to talk very easily.
And there were no rooms for anyone to stay.
There was no rooms, only one big dormitory was there. But here there are many rooms and offices are also there. Beside this, Seva office is there. There also some devotees are staying, some devotees offices there, and temple hall is far. So according to my experience, we have to take extra endeavor to go and meet with devotee and to reciprocate with giving prasadam and sharing Krishna conscience. Whatever we have experiences and some difficulty and whatever is there, we have to take extra endeavor. Then we can feel like family. And also because earlier was the small family, small setup was there. So for running big setup, we need some type of strict management and some rules and regulations so that things could move nicely, even in the absence of the leader. Like Rasampo is not always there, even Revati Prabhu and TMC committee is also not present many times in that temple because preaching activity and all activity. So we have to take from our side one step ahead so that we can whatever is there, we can balance and we can
manage. Okay, good points, good thoughts. Yes. Okay. So therefore, the important question is, whose need is it? Whose need is it? Who has to feel the need? Who? I. It is I. So therefore, if I feel the need, I will do the needful. Correct? So just like every one of us feels the need to eat when one is hungry. Correct? So if one is hungry, then what one will do? What one will do? Even if it is not prasadam time and one feels hungry, what one will do? Yeah, that is realized knowledge. Or they will find Vaman Prabhu. So, when there is a need, one will find out ways. Correct. So, similarly, when one feels the need for that family spirit, for the relationships, one will do the needful. Again, cannot be generalized. Different devotees have different needs. And so every devotee has to know what are his needs and act accordingly. All right? But the essential principle is there. The essential principle is there. That's what Prabhupada is saying there. The family idea is there. It's coming right from the spiritual worlds. And so therefore, being in the association, taking advantage of the association, and having appropriate relationships is something which is very vital and important. In fact, I think this is which year? 1988 or 89. You can see one of the BTGs, you can see. There is, once there was a whole discussion. So this is in the 80s because so many devotees were leaving the movement post Prabhupada's disappearance. So there was a whole conference and meeting among senior devotees to analyze what are the reasons devotees leave the movement. So some of the top leaders, they gathered together to analyze these reasons. And one of the findings, or one of the things they analyzed, and amongst various reasons, this was amongst the top reasons, and that is when devotees, they are in crisis, they're in difficulties, when they do not have anyone to reveal their minds to find solace and shelter, then that becomes a conducive time for Maya to attack. And that's when people leave. That was one of the prominent reasons. And so therefore, Srila Prabhupada gave great stress on the association of devotees. And of course, again, you find the same thing. When at 26 Second Avenue, it was such a small family of Srila Prabhupada and few limited disciples. But then again, the same thing, as the movement expanded, then disciples could hardly meet Srila Prabhupada. Of course, Srila Prabhupada was extensively writing letters, but still, it was limited. But then everyone has to find their own small circle of family. But then that principle is important. And of course, again, we are not talking about a material family of people just being together and staying together. It is a spiritual family. That means Krishna has to be in the center. Otherwise, if the consciousness is not Krishna consciousness, then even amongst the devotees, if consciousness is material, that type of association will simply lead to frustration. Because then, within that association, one will simply see each other's faults, criticize, and frustration. That's all. So therefore, the principle is, yes, the family idea has to be there, the association has to be there, but if it has to be satisfying to the soul, then those relationships have to be based on the spiritual platform with Krishna in the center. Right. Okay, read this.
You are under the clutches of Maya. You have no independence. Neither anyone has got any independence to save you. That is not possible. The same example as I gave some time, that you learn how to drive aeroplane so you can go high in the sky. But if you are in danger, no other aeroplane can help you. You are finished. Therefore, you must be a very careful pilot to take care of yourself. Similarly, in this material world, everyone individually has to take care of himself. How he can be saved from the clutches of Maya? That is Krishna conscious movement. A teacher can give you hints. Acharya can give you hints that you can be saved in this way. But the execution of the duties, that is in your hand. If you perform the spiritual duties rightly, then you are saved. Otherwise, even Acharya gives you instruction. If you don't follow, so how he can save you? He can save you by instruction, by his mercy, as much as possible, but you have to take it in your hands seriously.
Okay, so this appears to be contradictory to what was said in the previous slide, isn't it? So there Srila Prabhupada is speaking about the family spirit, and here what is Srila Prabhupada saying? If you are in danger, no other aeroplane can help you. Is it a contradiction? How do you reconcile? Yes, that's correct. So therefore, yes, the associate, as Prabhupada, he elaborates that same example of the aeroplane. So on the ground, then there is so much other staff, engineers, so many people are there to help. But once one takes off on his own. So similarly, the association is there to help. The acharya is there to help, to give instructions. But ultimately, who has to follow them? I have to follow. So if I don't follow, one can be in the association. Others may give guidance also. But if I don't follow, who can help? There's English saying, you can take a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. So the association may be there, other devotees may be there, the acharya is giving instructions, everything is there. But if I am stubborn not to follow, who can help? Yes, the help is required, but then ultimately I need to follow. Otherwise, even acharya gives you instructions. If you don't follow, how we can save you? So Prabhupada clearly says that if you don't follow, I cannot save you. Ultimately, it's the responsibility of every individual to follow. Then one will get the help. Okay.
So Arjuna is a great warrior. He could fight all the soldiers, all the fighting men. Yutsava. Yutsu. The other party, they were assembled, Yutsu, with fighting spirit. Other men, even they are not fighting spirit, we can kill very easily. But own men, although they are fighting spirit, still he is hesitates. Because own men. So this
Ownmanship.
Ownmanship is relationship with the body is the barrier for spiritual understanding. So long this conception of life will exist that I am this body, and anyone who is related with this body, they are my own men, kinsmen, relatives. This conception of life is the greatest barrier for advancing in spiritual consciousness. Therefore, the Vedic civilization is so planned that one has to give up this rascal own man conception. This is Vairagya.
So what is this giving up this own man conception? So on one hand, we're saying there must be family spirit. And then again here he says, give up the own man conception. So we have to give them up. So okay, so that's the problem. Considering bodily relationships as all in all. Okay, fine. Somebody else? Yes, what?
A way to give up this ownmanship is seeing them spiritually and developing spiritual relationship.
That's right. Yes. So we don't see them as simply family members, but we see them in connection to Krishna as being a part of Krishna's family or as parts and parcels of Krishna. Then we have the right conception. Okay, fine. So now going to the second reason. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll read this. This is quite interesting.
Drishtva imam swajanam Krishna. By seeing my own kinsmen, because I am fool number one. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. I am calling them swajana. In Shastra, it is called swajanakhya dasyu. Swajanakhya dasyu. They are all thieves and rogues, but they are claiming as my kinsmen. Suppose in your pocket there is $100. If some pickpocket takes it, and if you capture him, then you give him immediately to the police. And when you come home after hard earned money, and when your wife takes away, oh, you laugh. Oh, you have taken all my money? Ah. But the same pickpocket, but but because he's Swajana Khyadasyu, pickpocket in the name of Swajana, he is very much pleased. Oh, my wife has taken, my son has taken, never mind. That's all. And others, as soon as takes, he give him to the police. The same business is being done. He is working hard day and night, and they are plundering. Still, they are thinking they are my Swajanam. They are my kinsmen. This is called illusion.
Okay, so Prabhupada is graphically explaining how thieves and rogues in the name of family members. Of course, elaborately explained in The Forest of Material Enjoyment by Jad Bharat. Okay, so now we go to the next reason for not fighting, and that is a loss of enjoyment. Text 30. न च शक्नोमि अवस्थातुं ब्रह्मतिव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. Okay, so here Arjuna is saying that he cannot see any Shreya in this fight. He cannot see anything beneficial in this fight. So here Prabhupada focuses on the words nimittani viparitani. The words nimittani viparitani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self-interest by Krishna's will. One's real self-interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjuna thought that his victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him. So, nimittani viparitani. So, one gets the opposite of what one expects. One expects something. So Arjuna was thinking, if I fight the war, I'll win the war, I'll be happy. But now what he's thinking? This war is not going to make me happy. It's going to make me frustrated. So do you have any personal experience of you expected something and something exactly the opposite happened? You can think for a minute. Any instant in your own life, you expected something and exactly the opposite happened. Okay, we'll give everyone half a minute to think. Personal. Okay, bolo.
Roji, when I was in 8th class, 2007, at that time I visited Bangalore, Kanyakumari, Pune for a visit, some scientific visit. So I had no experience of South Indian food. So when we reached at Bangalore station, so there we were served something hot. So when from a distance in a queue, I saw there was looking like some nice sweet halwa. And when I reached there, I saw that they're serving some chutney also along with it, something. So I didn't understand, no, I do not need. Then I took that, considering it halwa in my plate. I asked him to serve one more spoon. He served. And it was yellowish in color. So I just brought plate and with whole enthusiasm, because I'm sweet, means I love sweets. So I took whole lump of big, put in mouth. As soon as I took inside, it was salty. It was upama. So I was totally depressed. I thought, what has happened? Then still I had hope. I thought could be something wrong. So I just mixed it along again and put it inside again. Then later on I came to know there's some new dish, upma, which I didn't know. So that
Okay, so you're expecting something sweet, you got something salty. Okay. Thank you. But anyway, that was not such a big disaster. At least you got to learn a new dish.
Just before few days, I went to my village. So from there, I booked one ticket. So in that train, actually, around 100 plus 130, 150 waiting also got confirmed. And my waiting was just 37. But once the goes told you book ticket, otherwise it may get cancelled. It may remain in waiting. So I did not give more importance to his word because many devotees told me that it got confirmed anyway. So I didn't apply for emergency quota. And on the day of the journey, next day only, it was complete waiting. I expected that it will get confirmed, but it remained like that.
But anyways, you got in, no?
Other train.
Okay. Okay, fine. Haan, Piche?
It so happened that I won't take the details of the person, but like many of the times it has happened with me that sometimes we do some service or some extra thing, and when we approach our authority, we may think that they will get pleased by it, but exactly the opposite happens when they say, "With whose permission you did this particular thing?" So they seem to be displeased with that particular thing.
Yes, okay. That's true. Sometimes it does happen.
This happened to me in my 12th project. After 12th examination, when I gave JE, so I got good marks in mains, but in the entire history of JE for last so many years, there was a rule for only 2 years, and that rule was there only when we were giving this. 2014 batch people might be knowing. 14 JE they might be knowing. They have come up with a rule that apart from your competitive exam marks, your board also marks also will be weighted with some kind of percentage and all. Then they come up with a cumulative percentile, and then based on that ranks were given, all India ranks, and then accordingly colleges were allotted. So I expected somewhere some rank, some better rank I expected. I didn't get that rank. But ultimately, I felt happy that I didn't stay in the hometown because I went out of hometown, because if I would have gone that college, probably it's just 80 kilometers from my home. But because I had to go to another NIT, which is in a different state, I could stay there for weekends, because of which I could attend all voice devices.
Okay. Fine. So, but that's the nature of the material world. As the saying goes, man proposes, God disposes. So therefore, one has to expect reversals. In fact, there's a quote from Srila Prabhupada which says that a Vaishnav is one who expects difficulties at every step. That's what Shastra is saying. Padam padam yad vipada. So therefore, one has to expect that something can go wrong at every step. So if something does not go wrong, then one will be grateful that nothing went wrong. But to expect something to go wrong is natural. One should expect that at any step, something can go wrong. Nimittani viparitani. That's the nature of this world. Okay, 31. What's your...
I have one question.
Wait, just a second. Okay, I think so we can skip. Prabhupada is speaking about Gandhi, how Gandhi got frustrated. He speaks about that many times. He expected something, but then everything was opposite. He expected Hindu-Muslim unity, but something else happened. So towards the end here, Prabhupada is saying, so Nimittani, he saw that I shall be happy, my countrymen will be happy, but at the end he saw Viparitani, all opposite. Everyone will experience that. Everyone will experience that. So long he will be materially attached, he will find Viparitani. As long as one is materially attached, things will go opposite. So one has to expect this in the material world. But then one has to, if one understands, yes, this is the nature of the material world, it is temporary, one has to focus on something higher, then one will not be frustrated. Okay, next, 31. Na cha shreyanupashyami hatva svajanamahave na kankshe vijayam Krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. I do not see how any good can come from my killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So here he's saying, I do not see nacha shreya anupashyami. I do not see how there is any shreya from this fighting So everyone knows these two words, right? Prayas and Shreyas. What is Prabhupada's famous example? Prayas and Shreyas. See that?
When
Correct. That's Prabhupada's famous example. The child simply wants to play because from that he gets immediate enjoyment. That is called prayas. But then the parents know what is the long-term benefit. So therefore they tell him to study Shreyas. So here Arjuna is saying, I don't see any Shreyas. I don't see any long-term benefit from this fighting. Nurture Shreya Anupashyami Hatva Swajanam, by killing my own kinsman. So therefore he says, Na Kangshe, I do not desire Vijayam, Na Rajyam, Na Sukhani. I don't desire all these things because I don't find any Shreyas in receiving all these things. Okay. Okay, 30 to 35. Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhoge jivitena va, yesham arthe kangshitam no rajyam bhoga sukhani cha, तयमे व्यवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्य पितर पुत्रास्तथैव च पितामह मातुला स्वसुरा पौत्रा श्याला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान्न हन्तुमिच्छामि ज्ञतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किं नो महि कृते निहत्य धातराश्रान्नः का प्रीति स्यात् जनार्दन. O Govinda, what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Please read the purport. Who's in line? Purport.
Purport. Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. But when one takes the opposite way, namely, when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. Arjun's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives. But Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. The transcendental life, however, is different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing. Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Arjun did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them.
So, what is Arjuna doing in this verse? Yes, Sushma. Sushma.
Basically, tendency of a jiva is that what we want, we should get it from God. And that means like what I like is God's liking. So that's what Arjuna is trying to convey to Krishna, that I do not want to fight. So you should also sanction it.
Correct. So basically, in this verse, in these verses, Arjuna is addressing Krishna by 3 words. Which are they? Govinda, Madhusudana, Janardana. And 2 words, he is misusing them. Which 2 words?
Madhusudana.
Govinda and Janardana. So, Govinda is misusing. Why? Because he's saying that you are master of my senses. So, you should know what my senses want and act accordingly. I don't want to fight. So, you please cooperate with me. So, he's misusing that word Govinda. And the other word Janardana has 2 meanings. In the word to word, you'll find Janardana, Ardhana means to maintain, the maintainer of the people. But the word Janardhan also means one who kills the people. And so therefore, Prabhupada is writing in his purport, you can see that almost towards the end. Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. So Arjuna is telling, oh, you are Janardhana, you anyways kill people. So why are you telling me to kill? You want to kill, you only kill them. Why are you telling me to kill? So this is a point of what is called as academic and moral integrity. Academic and moral integrity means speaking Shastra as it is and applying Shastra as it is without misinterpretation. That is called as academic and moral integrity while presenting Shastra. So therefore, it's very important that one should not misuse Shastra for one's own benefits. So sometimes we do find these things happening. People may misquote Srila Prabhupada. They take quotes out of context to suit their own purposes. So sometimes these things happen. So therefore, one should not do this. That's what Arjuna is showing us, what not to do. So he is misusing these words for his own purposes. But ultimately, what he's trying to say is, an important point here is, everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives, but Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence of the victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. So in material life, why one wants to buy a nice new house, new bungalow, new car, new dress? Why? Yes, to show off to others. I'm sure we all have had that experience. If you wear a new dress and you go to college and nobody appreciates it, how will you feel? What's wrong? Why nobody is appreciating? Of course, here there's not much choice anyways. But the point is, this is a tendency. Now we may not have something about dress and car, but now, at least after giving a class, we appreciate, we expect, isn't it? People should come and appreciate. Nobody appreciates. What was wrong? After a kirtan. So that is, as Prabhupada says, a typical calculation of material life. So one is mostly thinking about oneself and what will make one happy rather than what will make Krishna happy. So this is the second reason. So Arjuna fears a loss of material enjoyment. Okay, read this.
He is thinking Krishna is not so important. My family is important. Although he is devotee, therefore Kanishta Adhikari, in the lower stage of devotion, one may be interested in Krishna consciousness, but his real interest is how to improve this material life.
So Prabhupada is calling Arjuna Kanishta Adhikari. But of course, he's playing a role. But then that's the meaning of a Kanishta Adhikari. Somebody is practicing devotional service, but he's thinking about himself and what will benefit him rather than thinking how Krishna will be satisfied. Okay, now going to the third reason. The third reason for Arjuna not to fight is sinful reactions. 36th verse. Papam mevashre tasman hetvaitan atataina tasman narha vayamantum datrashchan sabhandavan swajanam hikatam hatva sukina syama madhava. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So now, papam evashre dasman hatvaitan atataina. So he's saying that all these people, they are atataina. So who's atataina? Prabhupada is defining. Yes, so these 6 kinds of people, they're called as atatan, aggressors, poison giver, one who sets fire in the house, attacks with deadly weapons, plunders riches, one who occupies another's land, one who kidnaps a wife. So were the Kauravas atataina or no? Yes, they were. And then further Prabhupada says, such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. And such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary man. He was saintly by character. And therefore, he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for Kshatriya. So here, we find that the Shastric injunction is that such aggressors, Adatayana, should be immediately killed. So anyway, we won't go into the Acharya's commentaries, but I'll just tell you the gist of what they say. So basically, there are 2 Shastric injunctions. So one Shastric injunction is one should be non-violent. Ma himsa sarva bhutani, one should not cause violence to any living entity. That is one Shastric injunction. The other Shastric injunction is such aggressors should be killed. So now, Arjuna is taking shelter of one Shastric injunction, that is, one should be non-violent. But that Shastric injunction is applicable for whom? For Brahmanas. But for Kshatriyas, that does not apply. For Kshatriya, especially if somebody is an aggressor, then Kshatriya has a full right to kill him. And not doing so would be going against one's dharma as a Kshatriya. So you see that Arjuna is taking shelter of Shastric injunctions to prove his point. But what is he doing? What's he doing? Misusing Shastra. He's taking shelter of Shastra. Whatever he's speaking is on the basis of Shastra, but he's misusing Shastra for his own benefit. Now here also, Arjuna addresses Krishna as what? Madhava. And again here he is misusing that word. How? How is misusing this word? So Prabhupada writes that towards the end of his purport. Arjuna's addressing of Krishna as Madhava, or the husband of goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that as the husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. So Arjuna is trying to tell Krishna, oh, you're Madhava, you are supposed to bring some good fortune for me, but this war is not going to bring me good fortune. So that's how he's misusing that word, Madhava. So in this way, so this is the third reason, that is sinful reactions. And the fourth reason is destruction of dynasty. That starts from the 39th verse. We'll just read the translation to 37, 38. O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in those acts of sin? So Arjuna is saying they may not see what is right and what is wrong, but we know what is right and what is wrong. So why should we do something wrong just because they want to do something wrong? And then the last reason, we'll just read all these verses together and then go ahead. 39. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bhibhavatyuta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. 40. Adharma bhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyah strishu dushta suvarshneya jayate vanna sankaraha. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. And what is the result of that? Sankaro narakayeva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro yesham lupta pindo dakakriyaha. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Okay, so he's giving this series of events. If the elders in the family are killed, then the family tradition is vanquished. Then those who are subordinates, they will not follow the family tradition. They will not follow the rules and regulations of scriptures because the elders are not there to guide them. Then especially the women who are innocent, they will not follow. There will be degradation of womanhood. When there's degradation of womanhood, Varna Sankara, unwanted progeny. And this unwanted progeny also will not perform any of the Varnashram duties, community projects, family welfare activities, everything will be devastated. In this way, the entire Kula will be devastated. Okay, fine. So now we'll just read the translations of the remaining verses. So somebody can just read the translations of the remaining verses.
42nd.
Yes. 42 onwards.
42. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. 43rd. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. 44th translation. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. 45th. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. 46th. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Thus, in the Bhagavan purports to the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, some of these purports, last purports which we didn't read, please read them. If you have any doubts, we'll answer them tomorrow and then continue with the second chapter. All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.